What's the lamest way that you injured yourself badly?
A few years ago, my uncle threw his back out doing that jumpy leg thing when he was trying on a pair of tight pants at the mall.
I threw my back out one morning putting on a pair of pants to go to work. I wasn't even in a hurry. It was so bad I had to call out for work as I couldn't walk more than 10 feet without needing to lay down. To this day, it's my boss's weirdest call he's ever got.
I dislocated a rib wiping my ass.
I sublocated my rib bending over to towel dry my hair.
I've thrown my back out sneezing. Twice. High five.
I threw my back out changing my daughter's diaper.
I threw my back out bending over to put on underwear. Not having my roommate come home to find me naked on the floor was some phenomenal motivation to get me up, even though I couldn't actually move.
I had a muscle spasm that was so bad I couldn't move my legs for a few hours, couldn't sit up without passing out. I was in the hospital for 3 days, and had to do physical therapy. I had taken a pork roast out of the oven. That was all.
I fainted and shattered my foot. By just getting out of bed. Seriously, got up, and went to the bathroom, felt that wah-wah-wah feeling, grabbed a bottle of water then crumpled, unconscious, in front of my fridge in my own apartment. I'd just moved in, didn't even have furniture, and had been sleeping on a bedroll till I could pick up my stuff. I broke 3 metatarsals clean through, 2 chip fractures. Resulted in 2 plates and 12 screws. Didn't walk for almost 6 months. Oh man, you stole mine. I once had a migraine, couldn't stand the pain anymore and got out of bed, and the migraine pain was hiding the fact that my foot was asleep. I collapsed on my sleeping foot, and broke 2 toes. Dumbest injury ever.
Yeah, I once didn't know my leg was dead asleep, got up, and quickly ran over to turn off my light, fell face down like a sack of beans. Lick splat. Sprained my ankle.
One day during basic training, I went to the latrine before morning PT, as is tradition. I could tell I slept in an awkward position, because my back felt twangy. Finished my business, went to wash my hands, and after rinsing, all I did was one single shake the water off gesture, and the middle of my back exploded in white-hot pain that stopped me dead in my tracks. My hope that it would subside quickly was diminishing by the second, as I hobbled my way to formation, standing there, hunched over, because I couldn't stand up straight. Couldn't walk it off, went to sick call, turns out it was a back spasm, but I was assuring the nurse that 2 of my vertebrae had violently switched places. Good times.
I concussed myself by opening a car door into my head. My only defense is that when I moved my head back to get out of the way, I felt a tree branch brush the back of my head, which caused me to quickly jerk my head forward away from it. Directly into the car door.
I once opened the car door into my face. I wasn't sleepy or anything, so I can't even blame that. I gave myself a fat lip. Then I was worried that people would think that my boyfriend was abusing me, rather than accepting that I might just be a clumsy person that was entirely capable of hitting myself in the face with a door. Given that I have also managed to somehow end up with a black eye while sleeping in the past, consistently run into door frames at home, and at work, and generally trip over everything, no one even questioned me having a fat lip.
Late to the party, but I broke my knee by picking something up. No, not a fridge. No, not a wild bowl. I bent down to pick up my phone. It required 2 surgeries.
I smashed my forehead into the rough edge of a closet door while I was hurrying to take laundry out of the dryer. I'd just heard the Jeopardy theme song come on 2 rooms away, and I didn't want to miss it. There was blood. I've also pulled a muscle in my shoulder while I was putting conditioner in my hair.
I thought the glowing sand under the disposable barbecue would be cool to touch. It was not cool in the slightest.
Ouch! I threw my back out bending over to pick up my lighter.
Threw my back out taking a shit.
Might be time to consider adding a little fiber to the diet.
I did this. Reaching back to wipe. No unusual movement, but something muscular locked up. Untreated it got worse. Ended up with piriformis syndrome, a pinched sciatic nerve, and 6 weeks of PT to recover.
Reading this on the toilet. I'll tread carefully from now on.
If it makes you feel better, I threw my back out buckling my belt after taking a piss. I looked down to see where the little hole in my belt was, and it felt like someone slammed a red-hot knife in my back. I was on bed rest for almost a week.
My dad actually threw his back in taking a shit. Had been flat on his back in misery for over a week, was struggling to sit up on the toilet, and something popped back into place, and he said the euphoria is unmatched to this day.
Not me, but one of my teachers in high school, tripped on his sword and stabbed his leg. Had to go to the ER.
Why did he have a sword?
I have questions.
A teacher was allowed to carry a sword?
Reminds me of my art teacher. She was holding a clay carving tool, which looked like a big needle, tripped, fell, and stabbed herself in the eye. Miraculously, she didn't go blind.
I had forgotten about this, until your comment about high school. Once the gym teacher subbed for the cooking teacher. The recipe said to boil water that's about thumb deep. You can see where this is going, right? He boiled the water first, then stuck his thumb in to see if it was deep enough.
I tried to pee off the side of a hot tub, because I was jealous that my brother and his friends could do it. I'm female. I slipped and cracked open my chin on concrete.
I've dislocated my shoulder multiple times high-fiving. And twice getting out of bed.
I have a giant scar on my ankle from shaving my legs drunk. I may or may not have tried to shave my pubes drunk, and may or may not have injured my crotch.
I have a large one on my side, from falling in the bathtub. The nozzle that sticks out of the shaving cream bottle cut my side open. It looks like I had surgery.
Every once in a while, I decide to check if I'm still lactose intolerant, and drink a glass of milk. Without fail, I shit my organs out every time. I don't know why I keep doing this. I've been lactose intolerant 14 years now, so you'd think I would have learned by now, that it doesn't just magically go away.
When I was little, I lived with my mom in a ranch house, and the whole house had this long and narrow hallway that ran through it. I thought it would be funny to run straight at my mom, and parkour off the wall, to pass her in the hallway at a high speed. In reality, my foot slipped off the wall, I tripped over her foot and went straight down into my left hand as I caught my fall awkwardly. Broke my wrist in 2 places, and broke 3 fingers, lol.
When I was a baby, Dad and I were on a bed, and I was trying to learn how to walk. Babies on a mattress never stay upright. I fell on my dad's nose and broke it. I weighed what, 15 pounds?
In the dark, I ran into a clothesline, fell backwards onto the ground, and had a concussion.
I got a paper cut on my foot, by walking past an open book.
The amount of times I kicked myself in the balls while trying to remove my socks is way too high.
That's happened to me never many times. You're doing it wrong.
The amount of times I've punched myself in the boob removing pillowcases.
I've punched myself in the boob whilst trying to pull up my sleeves, too many times already.
I hit myself in the nuts while trying to catch the thing I dropped before it hits the ground, far too often.
Ha! I work in a kitchen. Breaking down boxes from delivery has resulted in so many ball hits. It's crazy.
If it makes you feel any better, I have more than once punched myself in the mouth after I lost my grip, trying to pull on tight shoes without untying them first. That's almost the same thing. Just without socks. And balls.
Many years ago, married 24 years now, my husband and I were goofing around play fighting. He's a second-degree black belt, I'm a second-degree dumbass. I lunge forward while flinging my foot, and kick him in the bum. Broke my ankle. He was unscathed. We still laugh about it today.
There was a married couple in my karate club 30 years ago. They'd turned their garage into a home dojo, and would routinely practice together. One evening they came to class with matching bandaged hands. They'd punched at each other, and hit fist to fist.
I injured my eye quite badly putting safety glasses on too quickly, by jamming the arm into my eye.
That's so ironic it hurts.
It really did.
I cut off a pimple on my face with a dirty knife. I ended up getting infected, and the entire right side of my face bloated up with pus. Gradually, I'm talking I could barely see through my right eye. It was years ago, but they cut something in my nose, then drained the pus out my face.
Was once cutting pants into shorts, while I was wearing them, with a 7-inch knife. It got caught on the seam. I pulled, and stabbed myself in the thigh. I'm embarrassed to even type it.
Got my foot stuck in a couch, completely dislocated it.
Stabbed myself in the hand with a steak knife, trying to pry a frozen pepper off a pizza. I could have just taken it off after microwaving it.
I shut my head in the car door. I was going to be smooth, and get into my car at the same time I was shutting the door. All in one swift motion. But I wasn't swift, and my head didn't make it into the car in time.
I stubbed 5 of my toes at the same time, and broke all of them.
I tried to stomp on a balloon, and it popped out of the way, leading to me breaking my heel bone. People normally break that falling from great heights, or in car accidents. Apparently I really committed to the stomp.
Ran. Sat down. Stood up. Keeled over in agony. Twisted balls. Surgery 3 hours later.
I broke my nose while opening the fridge. I was sleepy and stood too close. That's when I stopped the habit of night snacking.
Gave myself a serious concussion when I didn't clear the top freezer, and hit the very top of my head taking something out of the fridge. I couldn't drive for 2 months, and had auditory hallucinations for about 2 years. It was such a ridiculous accident.
I broke 3 toes kicking a vacuum. So.
Why would you kick a vacuum?
Because it sucked.
Toes break so darn easily. I broke one stepping out of the shower, just didn't lift my foot high enough to miss the metal rail at the bottom of the shower door opening. Also fixed itself pretty easily though. Just taped it to its big brother, and waited a few weeks. Saw a doctor who charged dollars just to say, "Yep, carry on taping it."
I broke my arm falling off my motionless bike with training wheels. The jeans I were wearing didn't fit right, the crotch in them was too low, and my bicycle seat was a bit too high. Basically the crotch of my pants caught on my seat while stretching my leg over to get on, and I fell down into the grass. The bike fell with me.
I used to ride a bike with no hands on my street, which was long and flat, so it was okay. I used to ride my bike with feet off the pedals when I went down a big hill, to be more exciting. But one time, I was going down a big long hill, so I chose to do both, no feet, and no hands. Yeah, the expected happened. I went flying down the street face first, and was cut all along my chin, chest, and hands. I had to walk the bike home while bleeding everywhere.
I wanted to see how well my bike's front brake worked well, flipped over the handlebars.
My brother slipped on sand riding his bike. The handlebars pushed his ribs into his liver, and squashed it like a tomato. Spent 3 months in the hospital.
When I was a kid, I stopped my bike, but didn't put my foot down to prop myself up because I'm dumb. So I just fell over, and I guess threw my arm out to catch myself, but instead, just fractured my wrist on a block of wood. It was my dominant hand, so that was fun. I got a hot pink cast though.
Well friends, that's all for now. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Cheerio until next time, and please be careful.